What happened to Riley Gaines that we found out about Friday is just abhorrent. I think we're seeing the birth of a new civil rights leader if she has the stamina to take it. I mean, she is under attack. Megyn Kelly joins us now to talk about Riley Gaines and what happened at the university after she spoke. She was attacked. She says assaulted. I haven't seen the video of that, but I believe her. And she was kidnapped and held in a room. She wasn't allowed to leave. Welcome, Megyn Kelly. How are you?
Hi, Glenn. I'm good. I haven't felt so outraged about a story as I did just over the whole Friday news cycle.
Yep.
The thing that happened down in Tennessee, the thing that happened to Riley Gaines, the Bud Light and Oil of Olay with Dylan Mulvaney. I felt like you. I spent the weekend thinking about what can I do? What can I personally set up in a 501c3 or something to help these embattled women who are fighting, like Riley Gaines, who needs security, who needs to sue these people? Like, there has to be something more we can do.
I have to tell you, Megyn, I don't understand why women are not more upset. First of all, the Dylan Mulvaney thing, it's just a mockery of women. And
it truly is woman face. You know, they say black face when a white person dons this is woman face. It's mocking. It's minstrelsy. This is not someone who is gender confused, has gender dysphoria, and wants to lead a life as a woman. This is someone who's looking for attention and is making a joke out of womankind.
I do have to tell you, I lost track because I thought of a menstrual show, an old-time menstrual show, which...
Minstrel, but menstrual works too.
Let's go back to Riley Gaines here for a second. What happened to the police there? I mean, there was no real pushback, and the university comes out and, thanks the students who participated peacefully in the event and mentioned their bravery. The only one that was brave there was Riley. That's not brave to be in a mob.
No, this has not been a great year for law enforcement in and around the city of San Francisco. First, we had the Paul Pelosi debacle where the 911 operator was out to lunch like, gee, okay, bye. You okay? You're looking for Capitol Hill Police? Okay, bye. And the guy's under attack 5 times has to be like, well, wait. And then they basically let him get attacked before they went in. So that's number one in San Fran with the law enforcement out there. Now we see these campus cops there letting the victim be further victimized as they try to appease the mob. Perhaps they've forgotten the very point of their job. And that statement by the disgusting university was the most important thing I've seen since the University of Pennsylvania telling the female swimmers they needed therapy if they objected to Leah Thomas swimming in the pool. Can I just go back to what's Riley Gaines' sin? Is she Matt Walsh, who I love? Is she a Matt? No, she's not a Matt Walsh. Riley Gaines is not saying we don't indulge in the trans fantasy at all. Riley Gaines swam against Leah Thomas. She's the one who came in tied with Leah Thomas in the NCAA tournament, the finals, and was given no trophy because they wanted a picture of Leah holding the trophy, a man, not Riley Gaines, an actual woman. And Riley Gaines got a little upset about the way she was treated and the fact that she was forced to compete against a guy who'd been in the 500s as a man and now was taking national titles as a woman. And she's spoken out about that piece of the trans movement. That's what got her assaulted, shouted down like she was Hitler incarnate. If you can't talk about that, we're done. If you can't defend her right to speak up about that, we're done. Women's rights are over. And Joe Biden has responsibility in this. His administration is actively working to curtail women's rights right now. And these far-left activists, half of whom may or may not have a foot in the trans camp, and the other half are just far leftists who want to agitate, who hate reason, who are unattractive, unhappy people, who are just glomming onto any upset. I'm sorry, it's not nice, but why are they all homely? I mean, to a person, Glenn, there's something going on.
So Megyn, I mean, in the age of Me Too, Riley has said, I'm in a locker room, I turn around, and this guy, has his junk hanging out, and he's just staring at me, and I'm very uncomfortable. How is this not a Me Too thing?
Oh, because the media won't do its homework or do any bold reporting, which is required in these situations. The Daily Wire actually ran an in-depth report on Leah Thomas. And I've kept waiting for a Leah Thomas denial, for a Leah Thomas lawsuit. I've reported what they reported, citing them, and said I, too, will print a denial if Leah Thomas wants to issue one. I'm more than open-minded to hearing that the report is incorrect. Hasn't happened.
What is the report?
Online, Leah Thomas goes by Leah Thomas with a different spelling and has repeatedly liked, approved of, reposted posts that support something called autogynephilia. Leah Thomas is a man who is sexually into getting off by dressing like a woman. That's not gender dysphoria. That's a fetish. It's kink. That's what Bill Thomas, which is Leah's actual name, is into. He gets an erection when he dresses like a woman. And that is what they subjected the actual women on the UPenn swim team to. And when they said, this man is freaking us out and beating us, which is unfair, they were the ones told to get therapy. That's Leah Thomas. That's what Riley Gaines is out there saying, hey, this was not cool, and getting shouted down like she's the freak instead of Thomas.
What does it say to you that Finland, Sweden, Great Britain, France, they're all going exactly the opposite way that we are going when it comes to children and their sexuality and, transgenderism? They're saying that what we're doing is wildly dangerous, and we are now doubling down, it seems, on all of it. What?
We've been captured. We've been captured more so than those other countries by the disease that is wokeism. And it's tearing us apart at the fabric of who we are. And there's so few people over here willing to fight back. It's like J.K. Rowling came out and pushed back against some of the basic things that were happening. Again, J.K. Rowling's not Matt Walsh either. In fact, she and Matt Walsh have fought online because she thinks he's gone too far. But they treat her like she's a Matt Walsh. Again, I like Matt, and I loved What is a Woman. But there are so few who want to fight because they see what happened to J.K. Rowling, and they see how rabid these crowds are because of the deep unhappiness pervading their lives here in a very large country. And they don't want to be the next example of it. One of the reasons why the women on the UPenn swim team did not speak out publicly, a few spoke out anonymously. And keep in mind, Riley Gaines was not on UPenn. She was, I think, Kentucky. Is they said in their anonymous interviews, we won't get hired. This isn't even about swimming. We're not going to get hired in jobs in the real world if we put our names on these objections. That's how far left our corporations have gone in America, our colleges have gone, to the point where women will sacrifice their own rights, the rights of their daughters, in the name of political correctness or wokeness or not upsetting anybody. And what the Biden administration is doing right now to add to it is absolutely disgraceful.
So why isn't this viewed as a civil rights movement? And where are the pastors and priests that are really the ones that usually fill a hole like this? I mean, Riley, she's just a normal person. She's a kid, and she's doing this all because she just believes it. Her security alone would be something that would stop most people from joining her. And I think all these demonstrations to invoke fear, not to stop her, but anyone else who wants to step out of line, Where is the beginning of a movement? And I guess that's maybe where you started. You were thinking this weekend.
Yeah. I really did think on Friday this could be an inflection point, what happened to her in this whole battle. I mean, this could be the thing that finally leads the women and men to stand up and say, we're done. And I think about my own role in this whole thing, Glenn, a lot. I think about how when this all got started, I have a transgender person in my family by marriage, not my own marriage. And I mean, this person went full bore, the surgery, all of it. And it was deeply traumatic on those around that person in the immediate family. But I had sympathy for them because they went through it at a time when there was no support for this. They had to go to Canada to get all the surgeries. And I remember saying, don't bully, be loving, be kind. You don't understand. This is still the one group that people feel comfortable teasing and bullying, and it's wrong. And I don't think I was wrong to say that. But when I went to NBC, I did segments on how children were struggling with this, and perhaps there was a lane to help that. I regret that. I did not see where that was going to take us. Tolerance, and I think an innate ability amongst most Americans to live and let live, be kind, be supportive, try not to judge, understand some people have mental frailties, has been abused and is now morphed into the abuse of children by a system at every turn, and the dishonest posing as a trans person by people who have other mental disorders and worm their way into women's spaces, taking advantage of that need to be kind, of that innate instinct to be empathetic. And it's time to say, I'm putting my empathy in the back seat. I'm fighting for what's right. And if somebody who's claiming to have this mental disorder is offended, too bad. Up until about 2 minutes ago, it was recognized as a mental disorder by the psychiatry experts in America. It's only now that you're not allowed to say that. Well, nothing changed other than
right.
So I think we have no choice but to call out these people as disturbed, the glommers who don't even have gender dysphoria, who just want to feel special and come into our locker rooms and our swimming lanes, et cetera, need to be called out. Dylan Mulvaney and all of the brands sponsoring him need to be called out. And I use that pronoun him intentionally. I have no problem, Glenn, with somebody who has genuine gender dysphoria, has switched over into the other gender, like a Caitlyn Jenner. Wants to relatively quietly live their life in my lane.
Yep.
Okay? Caitlyn Jenner's not a woman. Caitlyn Jenner's a trans woman. There's a difference, and it matters. I'm happy to call Caitlyn Jenner her. These other posers who, as we're back to the minstrelsy, no, I'm not using my pronoun on you. And I'm not allowing my children to be asked their pronouns in class like gender is something you can order off of a Chinese menu. Bit by bit, we need to find our courage and return to the biological understandings that we've had since the beginning of time.
Megyn, it is always good to talk to you. Thank you so much. If you haven't heard the Megyn Kelly Show, it follows this program on XM Sirius, and she's wonderful and always has great guests. The Megyn Kelly Show on XM Sirius or wherever you get your podcast. Megyn, thank you so much.
Thanks, Glenn. Great to talk to you.
Talk to you again.